Hey guys, thanks for watching session 1 with Terry Hill. Tune in for session 2, where we'll get more valuable insights and wisdom from Terry. He's been involved for over 40 years in the martial arts. Was probably kicking down the dojo before Dana White was even thinking about martial arts. Terry, if you were to pass away tomorrow, what are 3 things that you'd like to leave, 3 little things of wisdom or advice would you like to leave behind?
Keep training. The physical thing's important. It's important for everybody. And keep, even for old people, keep moving, keep doing things. Mentally, just continue to learn, continue to grow and learn. Like, I'm a prolific reader. I've got stacks and stacks of books, and I read as much on the martial arts, martial ways, combat sports as I can, and devour, but just keep that mind learning and ticking over, and keep nurturing that spirit. Whatever you're into, do it. If you're into, the fight game, the martial arts, then do it, follow it. You don't have to be in there actually physically participating, but you can be supporting, you can be helping, you can be doing lots of different things. And that's actually how I got into officiating. I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna be able to compete, at the highest level anymore. So where do I go from here? What can I give back? And the officiating was the next thing. Of course, teaching. It's not our time. Our time's gone, and it's time to help them.
All right. Talking about time, Terry, if you had a time machine and you could go back, what's something that you'd change in your career, fighting career, or life in general?
I don't think I'd change too much in my career. As like you said before, we don't like the losses, but they're part of the learning curve. And I'm grateful for some of the shitty decisions that I think I got, but I'm just grateful for the education from it. What would I change? I don't know, not too much. I've got 6 sons, three different wives, and one other one.
You can't say you'd change that, because then your sons wouldn't be here.
I'd never change that. They are all awesome, and and that's the beauty of it. And they've helped sort of my growth with martial arts. Sons have had something to do with or do some form of martial arts or combat sports. It is a family endeavor for us. It's something for me, and this is just personal. Self-defense and physical fitness should be taught in every school, in every class, from primary school on up. And I can guarantee the problems that you have with bullying and all the rest of it, a lot of that would be out the window. You got little kids who can wrestle and take you down and against the big bully. Then it's the boxing thing. Yep, they don't have to be sparring. They don't have to be punching each other in the head. You can do interaction with it, and just give them a really good workout. Burn off that energy. Let them hit something, because that's what we as human beings need.
What's the weirdest training exercise you've ever had to do? One of your trainers proposed, or maybe one that you've heard of. What's the weirdest or funniest training exercise that you've ever had to do?
I've had so many different teachers too. To put it into a nutshell, with my boxing trainer, Arden Fatu, he's a great trainer, giving me some different punching drills on the heavy bag, and absolutely just blowing my cardio out, and me thinking afterwards, you prick, You know, why did you make me do this? You know, that hurt. And now I make my students all do it as well because it's a very good, it's a plyometric exercise. It's good. But
yeah, so, being an Aussie, and I've never been a great scholar. Oh, I don't know about that. But yeah, I knew of Lolo and Philip Lamb and Alex Tui, but you were telling me that Alex actually fought in New Zealand. Like I knew that he went to Australia. He was Australia's first world kickboxing champion.
yeah,
But yeah, obviously coming from, he's Tongan, isn't he?
yeah, he's Tongan.
Alex, yeah,
And he was training with Lolo and Wayne flying out of Philip Lamb's gym up in Auckland, so they were Liga. And I fought Alex. He was based in Australia at the time, and he kicked my ass away in 2 rounds. Yeah,
right,
strong puncher.
yeah,
Really good, good exponent.
yeah. Another thing that I was pleasantly surprised when I came to New Zealand is that kickboxing, Muay Thai, K1 is still pretty vibrant here. Still alive and well. Yeah, I was quite surprised, and like so many people train it here. Sort of a part of me is sort of like let it die. It's like, oh no, UFC's taking over. All the kids, all the young ones are going to be into UFC and that sort of thing. But I've found that Thai boxing is still pretty vibrant and pretty big. Like when we say big, like we can't compare it to to the main sports of like rugby and league and cricket and cycling. It was still good to see that the sport was still alive over here.
I mean, you got some really good fighters, some stand-up fighters that aren't interested in the MMA. Titus Proctor, who's here from Hamilton, so he's one of them. He got asked if he was thinking of going into MMA, and he said, "Nah." He said, "The stand-up is my game." He said, "I love it," and he said, "And I'll just continue on with that. Try and get into something like one or K1 in Japan."
Yeah.
I'm struggling at the moment though. But yeah, there's people that find their niche. Just like you could say to every soccer player, football player for the English, do you want to be an All Black? Do you want to play rugby union, etc., etc.? And they'll say no. I'm happy where I am, and I'm making good money, and pretty much that's Titus, and there's been a few others as well. They've just said, yeah, the MMA thing's cool to watch, but no, my game is kickboxing. So,
all right, Terry, if Bill Gates gave you $2 million, what would you do with it?
I'd just say thank you, shake his hand, and walk away. I don't want anything to do with any of those rich people, but I'd certainly take the $2 million. What would I do with it? I'd set myself up so I didn't have to work anymore and just live off the interest. That's the first thing. Spending it, yeah, of course it would be on either family and or martial arts. So I'd be looking at probably getting a bigger gym and a flasher place. And I mean, I like my gym. It's great, and it's very, very comfortable and a very spiritual place for me. But I'd certainly sometimes like to have a bigger place, just simply because they have to go outside and skip on the pavement because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
So in that regard, yeah, I mean, I've never had it ever. I mean, I grew up. I'm the youngest of 9 in my family. My mother brought us up. Yeah, I mean, my father buggered off when I was, after he finished conditioning me and smacking me around, and then took off. I've never had money, ever. I've been married 3 times. It's not a big deal to me. I mean, you need it. You've got to have it. It's nice. But, yeah, it doesn't mean squat,
Yeah. Yeah. Terry, I was telling you about one of your students that he just spoke very highly of you. Um, and you go to your gym, and it's just a lovely place. These guys are open, very open and friendly. It's just a really good feel there, and I'm sure you've got testimonies about students of yours that have gone on and done great things in the world. Been great people. How do we maintain that positive influence in the community? How do we keep doing that?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's education. The general concept of martial arts to most people is violence, where it's not. And the character, which is actually on the wall behind me over my shoulder there, that means to stop the spear. So it's about the control of violence. It's broken down into two areas. One is the spear. You can see the long stroke there, and the other kanji it means to stop. So martial arts is about stopping violence, about controlling violence, about being in a position where you don't have to use the violence to be able to win. And again, I think it's what we talked about before with the communication stuff. If you can do that, but you're going to have the confidence in yourself to be able to approach the people and to be able to do that. And that comes through the physical training, through the mental conditioning, and through a spiritual ambience. Jin Wu, it's a Chinese Martial Arts Association in Shanghai, or started in Shanghai. It's all over the world now. But their founder of it, Ho Yun-jie, had a very, very good saying that a number of martial arts organizations around the world use. Martial arts teaches you to condition the body, to cultivate the mind, and to nurture the spirit.
Yeah.
And if you can teach that to kids in school and bring it on up into high school and give them functional things that they're going to need to be able to use after they leave school and get out into the world, then cool. Self-defense, like we said, is that every school student should be learning this as they go through their school years, because it changes, from being a little kid to knowing what to do and to make a lot of noise if somebody attacks you and run away, etc. Being a teenager and actually having some technique to be able to back yourself up and be able to win, as in get out of the situation and be able to walk away. And then for adults, of course, it becomes a little bit more serious, especially when you're dealing with older people. But there's all sorts of things that people should know about. Most people don't. Most people put themselves in a situation and can't get out of it. Well, not most people, but a lot of people do, and consequently they get hurt. There's no awareness of things going on around them. There's just this whole blasé attitude around their life, and consequently, in some cases, they lose it. So we had a guy literally just up the road here who was coming back from a bar. He decided he was going to walk. He left his car in town, doing all the right things. He's walking home and sees some young girls breaking into a vehicle. So he calls out to them and asks them what they're doing, and he walks over there, and one of the girls stabbed the leg. Now, she said in court, she stabbed him in the leg because she didn't want to hurt him. She hit the artery. He died there on the spot, just bled out. So, those sorts of things. You had a phone because you called the ambulance. Don't go over and get involved in it. Call the police. It's their job. And maybe if it was your car or your son's or daughter's car or whatever, then maybe you would. But know about being able to keep distance, about being out of range for them to be able to do anything, where you can actually react and move away. if you see the blade, then stay right away from it. You know, it takes a very short penetration to hit a vital organ. So, yeah, I can guarantee he had never been taught or told or instructed in anything like that. And that's the same with most people. They just, rush out their front door, and not in this day and age, mate.
So, Terry, how do you teach or develop good character in your students?
Similar. Nah, again, it's a communication thing. I mean, there's discipline and there's structures, and those structures have to be adhered to. And that's what makes it a military system, a martial system, as opposed to a communal system where people are just doing what they want and running around and being loud, etc. So with the children in particular, once they fall into that, this is what we have to do, then I can actually teach them, and they can have some fun and learn things. When I just, I think the main thing for kids in martial arts is to enjoy themselves, have some fun, learn some stuff, learn some self-defense, as in what to do, what not to do, and just have fun. Your kids. There's some structure there, but it shouldn't be rigid. Now, as they get older and they become teenagers, and now they're more inclined to rebel and to go against the grain anyway, then those protocols need to be more heavily enforced, but not to the point where they don't enjoy themselves. Still let them enjoy themselves, but the structures are tighter and the discipline is probably paramount at that point. And then, as they're adults, then we're relating on the same basis. So you should be able to relate to things the way that I can. We're talking as equals, etc. Let's continue this journey together and keep moving forward.
Terry, what final question? What are some of your hopes and some things that you'd like to see happen in the next 10 years?
There's a big one. The first one is that Sport New Zealand recognise the Combat Sports Commission, which we need in this country. Unfortunately, there's been a number of fatalities in corporate boxing and a very bad, serious injury in a kickboxing contest down in Belclutha. But we need a structure that, unfortunately, Sport New Zealand failed to recognise. Every other country in the world has it. In Australia, you have it state by state, and there are combat sports commissions. But in New Zealand, there's nothing, and anybody can do pretty much anything they want. But there needs to be some control and some structure around that. That's the first thing. The other thing is, I'd like to see the schools introduce and adopt a self-defense. And again, it's not something. I mean, you want good instructors to be able to teach it, but I know a lot of school teachers who are martial artists, and some of them even mixed martial artists, and they're very, very good. And so let these people help with introducing and bringing some training methodology and let the kids have a hit out and have fun. Every species on this planet, us, animals, insects, everybody wrestles and rolls around with each other or runs into each other and bumps each other, and everybody does. And now they're telling you in schools that you're not allowed to do that. Get lost. I mean, the people that make these policies are returned to be in a zoo where people can poke at them and look at them. Not because they have no idea at all. And what we were talking about before, most people's perception of martial arts and combat sports is violence. It's not. There's a hell of a lot more than that. And the fighting is part of it. But the training, the discipline, the structures, this is all good work. And also, it's them out of that element of in a troublesome environment. I mean, you go to the gym, you fight, you train, you spar, and then you've got, the big fights coming up. You're not doing it free on a street corner or in a pub. You're probably not even going to be in the pub. So it's arts in schools, and New Zealand, get a combat sports commission.
All right. Thank you, Terry.
Yes.
How can people find Sambukai?
Oh, you just look it up. Just Google Sambukai martial arts.
Thank you, Master Terry.
Oh, thank you, brother. Much, much appreciated.